UX slogan number 19 is clarify, don't mystify. We mainly say this in reference to UX design, but it's also a leading guideline for the development of our own NNG content, such as these videos. Nielsen Norman Group wants to make user experience concepts clear, precise, understandable, and actionable. We don't want people to think of UX as a mysterious discipline with secret handshakes and methods that only a few initiates can use. UX is not convoluted. It's about making things easy. Our most important method is qualitative user testing, which you can do with 5 users. Of course, the perfect usability study requires some nuance. For example, you need to encourage users to keep thinking out loud while not biasing them by saying too much yourself. But the basics, honestly, are very simple, and we can explain them to everybody. That's the way we clarify UX rather than mystifying it. The slogan applies even more to your actual user interface designs. Anything you put into the UI must clarify the interaction, not mystify it. Unfortunately, mysteries run rampant on websites. The worst are the headlines some sites run of the type, "You would not believe what celebrity X wore to last night's award gala." Well, I would believe it if you told me, rather than keeping it a mystery. The theory behind mystery design is that you can wring more clicks out of your users if you entice them without telling them for sure what they'll get. Unfortunately, this strategy often ends up frustrating users who gradually will sour on your website if they waste too much time clicking through to disappointing pages. Much better to lay out a strong information set such that people know what they'll get. That leads to satisfied customers and more long-term use, as people learn that your website rewards their clicks. The rule to clarify, not mystify, also applies to command names, feature descriptions, error messages, and everything else in a user interface. It's not just that menu items should say what each command does. The name should also make sense to the users, given their knowledge about computers and about the domain of the application. Most users are not engineers, and most users know much less about your application than you do. So names that may seem perfectly clear to the design team could in fact end up mystifying users. How to tell the difference between clarification and mystification? More user testing. But your design will be less likely to fail those usability studies if you keep the goal in mind to clarify, don't mystify.